In this video, I wanted to take a look at how we change the reverberation time in Air Studios Reverb, which is a question that I've seen quite a lot come through the Spitfire support page. By default, Air Studios Reverb has quite a long natural decay time because it's effectively an old church. However, there are tools in the plugin which enable us to shrink the reverb time. To demonstrate this, I'm going to use a drum loop using the Grange. So if we just go to the drum tracks quickly and zoom in. If we open up the Air Studios Reverb and I hit play, by default we're going to hear a very long decay time of around 3 seconds. So how do we tame that? Well, using this shape control is the first way. So what does shape allow us to do? It allows us to change the envelope of the reverb decay. So the early options allow us to change things up to around 50 milliseconds. So these are the very first reflections that the microphones on this page would be capturing. The later reflections are anything that exist after 50 to 80 milliseconds. These are the ones which, if we change, we're really going to notice that stretch in the decay time. I think what we'll do is we'll try and create something that's a little bit like a drum chamber using this loop. If we take down the stretch level all the way to 0 and the early stretch all the way down, and also take some of these late levels down and take some of the early level down, if we look at this reverb time now in the bottom right hand corner, we'll see that it's about 1.1, whereas before it was about 3.1. So we've already decreased the reverb by a significant amount. One of the things that we can also do here is we can take pressure off the amount of stretching that these algorithms are doing, because the more you stretch impulse responses in a convolution reverb, the more potential we're going to introduce some unwanted artifacts. So if we change this to a wood and we also put the dampening in and lower the ceiling, we can then reduce this reverb time further and use the stretching tools less aggressively. Which to me is now feeling a lot more natural. One thing that we can also do here is if we go to the mixer page, we can actually take out the tree, which is a very direct signal, and we can bring in something more like the canopies, and we can increase the microphones at the back of the room in the galleries, which are more of a reverb signal, whereas the tree is more of a perspective signal. So Air Studios Reverb is not only something that is a traditional sounding lush hall, it can also be used as a really creative tool. And to expand on that just in a little bit more detail, if we go back to the shape page, we have 5 different algorithms. The complex algorithms are designed to be these more traditional, if I stretch this, it's not going to affect the pitch too much, and they're going to be very clean. Whereas the retro and the granular algorithms are designed to affect the pitch or to loop various parts of the reverb time, which gives us a much more characterful, creative reverb tail. So if we go to something more like the retro, and we bring up these early levels a little bit more, we should hear now that the reverb gets, again, that little bit more creative. The granular algorithm in particular is really quite enjoyable to work with. It really does get quite creative. And to be able to mold Air Studios into that more unique sound is really, really enjoyable to work with. Just for a final bit of fun, I think we should maybe throw a little bit of compression on this just to excite the reverb a little bit more.
Thanks for watching Spitfire Clips. Let us know if it was too long, too short, too fast, or too slow in the comments down below. Hit like if we answered your question, and subscribe for more clips, tips, tricks, and exclusive Spitfire content.